Good morning, Thailand. My name is Alex.
And I'm Jay.
And it is Boxing Day. This is Thursday, December 26th, and we have some news stories for you from around the land of smiles. Now, today we will be talking about a tragic incident involving the consumption of poisonous mushrooms, some knife-wielding menaces in Pattaya, and a little later, not one but two shocking plane crashes in Asia. But before we begin all of that, we have some actually good news.
It is a tragic day, and we are talking about some tragic stories. However, we have a extremely very nice Christmas story coming out all the way from Leh, Thailand. Ladies and gentlemen, this year, Santa and Mrs. Claus joined the Royal Thai Police to hand out gifts and some Christmas cheers to the locals and residents of the beautiful city of Leh in the north of Thailand. Northeast. They were handing out candy, gifts, joy, and probably indulge in some amazing northeastern food as well. This video was sent to us by one of our Thaiger viewers, Joseph Patricio from Leh. Seasoned greetings goes out to you and everyone. We hope you had a great Christmas and very happy to see people getting involved and spreading the love locally during Christmas in Thailand as well. So well done to you, Joseph, and Mrs. Claus as well.
Yeah, he's got the same young Santa look going on that I like to sport.
Does, yeah.
So very well, you fit the role very nicely, my friend, and congratulations on spreading the goodwill and good cheer.
That's right. Tiger family getting involved. Well done.
Indeed. Fantastic.
All right, now to more horrific stories for our classic Boxing Day bonanza.
Well, if it bleeds, it leads. We got to talk about it. And unfortunately, there was some crazy stuff that happened during the holidays. And let's just dive into it with our first one. Now, a Belgian man has been attacked and robbed by teens in Pattaya on Christmas Day of all days. It's nothing sacred. An 80-year-old Belgian man, Richard Ander M. van Bogaert, was attacked and robbed by a teenage gang on Christmas Day near his residence in Pattaya. The gang, wielding knives, stole his wallet containing 7,000 baht and fled the scene. Mr. van Bogaert sustained severe head injuries but managed to return home, where his caretaker called the police. Authorities are investigating, reviewing CCTV footage, and setting up roadblocks to apprehend the 6 teenage suspects. The motive behind the attack remains unclear, but police are determined to bring the culprits to justice. This guy was left in a bloody mess. 80 years old. Come on, guys. Like 6 kids picking on somebody like 80. They're obviously not going to be able. What a tough customer, though, to be able to make it back on his own and get the help that he needs and hopefully put a stop to this madness. I don't know, man. That's pretty annoying on Christmas Day where everybody's supposed to be in a good mood.
I think people are a bit more relaxed as well, especially if you're a Westerner. You know, you're maybe not as vigilant and you're expecting the best out of people. But unfortunately, guys, crime still is possible. Sad to see. Sad to see the video. Sad to hear about the story. But
I'm glad he's okay. It does appear. It is rough. And
good on him. A strong man. Well done.
Indeed. Good constitution. But it's one of these things, man. These teenage gangs, the mob mentality thing kicks in and they sort of lose. Who knows if, I don't want to speculate, but potentially even drugs could be involved where there's a lack of empathy, that kind of thing. Anyways, hopefully they find them. They're taking it very seriously down there.
Yeah. I will move on to our next story, which is talking about a Australian tourist that's threatened by the moto-taxi driver in Pattaya. You've heard of the Phuket taxi mafia. Careful of the Pattaya one as well, because on Christmas Eve in Pattaya, a minor motorcycle collision escalated into a frightening encounter when a 60-year-old Australian tourist, Evika, was allegedly threatened with a knife by a motorbike taxi driver. Now, the incident began with a small incident followed by an argument and turned violent when the driver chased Evika into an alley brandishing a knife. Now, Evika filed a police report and authorities have summoned both parties for questioning. Investigations are ongoing, with police urging visitors to stay cautious and report incidents promptly. What could have happened for him, a motorbike taxi driver, to get his knife out? Is he haggling for 20, 40 baht?
Yeah, it beats me. It's pretty shameful for him, especially when sometimes the reputation is already a little bit tarnished, because this is something that ruins the reputation for everybody else. All the hardworking Grab drivers and bike drivers, motorbike taxi drivers. It needs to be reported when it is so that people can, bring these kinds of guys to justice and make sure. This is a crazy story, an unfortunate one, and it's still, the details are coming out a little bit, but a British tourist has died after consuming what he thought were magic mushrooms in Thailand.
Oh, no.
So a 25-year-old British tourist tragically died in Chiang Mai after consuming quote-unquote magic mushrooms purchased from a cannabis shop during a Christmas holiday with his girlfriend. Shortly after ingesting the hallucinogenic drugs, or at least what he thought it was, he suffered a severe reaction, foaming at the mouth and collapsing. Despite medics' efforts, he was pronounced dead on December 20th. Following the incident, police raided the store, known as the Glory Days, arresting the owner and 3 employees for illegally selling narcotics. Authorities discovered 7 kilograms of magic mushrooms in a storage room. The British Embassy has informed the man's family, and investigations continue. Tough stuff.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
No, it's this is the thing though. Magic mushrooms, like there's rumblings of them trying to legalize this and regulate the market in order to make sure that what is being sold is safe.
Yeah.
Because it is a big part of the culture and traveling here in Thailand. Yeah. And unfortunately, sometimes the poisonous ones get mixed up.
Yeah.
And this is why it's important. I'm a very anti-war on drugs guy, and I think it's much better to have a regulated and safe supply of these things because typically magic mushrooms harmless.
Yeah, very harmless, kind of enjoyable.
Experience from what I've heard.
Yeah, many argue because it's got so many medicinal benefits as well that a lot of doctors use it for recovery, growth. It's even
treating depression, that kind of thing. Yeah,
it's even helped like regenerative cells and stuff. Like there's a lot of benefits for it.
Absolutely, which is why this is such a shocking story.
It can go very wrong.
No, tragic, especially you think you're just going to have some fun and all of a sudden it ends up being, a life-ending experience. So it's a good thing that they cracked down on the store that's doing this. Obviously, they are not allowed to be selling that yet. That's still not legal here in Thailand. Not making sure that whatever they're giving is going to have a very adverse effect on the consumer. So anyways, shut down for now.
All right, we'll move on to our next story, which is regarding a Thai woman surviving a rape attempt due to a suspect's erectile dysfunction. Yeah, you heard me correct. 2 Thai women survived a rape attempt in Ubon Ratchathani, allegedly due to the suspect's erectile dysfunction. The 35-year-old suspect, Rung San, attacked the women with a wooden stick, causing one to crash her motorcycle and sustain head injuries. After assaulting her, he attempted to rape, but fled when she pretended to be dead. The second victim managed to escape with minor injuries. Rung San admitted to consuming methamphetamine and claimed he initially targeted their valuables but later attempted sexual assault. He now faces charges for sexual assault, physical assault, and drug use, with penalties ranging up to 10 years in prison and significant fines. I believe the thinking behind the erectile dysfunction is that he was high on the drugs and therefore couldn't perform that awful act.
Absolutely disgusting. And again, showing how methamphetamine, yaba, can be a really big problem here in Thailand because your confidence is through the roof. Yeah. You lose all empathy for how your actions are going to affect other people. It's a very well-known, well-documented thing, and that's why so many crazy people end up, they were on meth. And this is just another such case. These women were lucky to escape without having to go through that traumatizing experience, although it was already traumatic enough what they had to go through. So throw the book at him, I say. Keep him off the streets for good. All right. I told you it was going to be a rough day in the newsroom today. But anyways, I do have a feel-good for you next. Okay. I hope you'll enjoy this. Now, all right. Suvarnabhumi Airport has surprised passengers with teddy bears.
Hey!
On the carousel.
Hooray.
All right. So Suvarnabhumi International Airport in Bangkok surprised passengers with Christmas-themed teddy bears on the baggage carousel as festive gifts on December 24th and 25th. The initiative, led by airport officials, delighted passengers, especially families. In addition to the teddy bears, the airport features live music, festive decorations, and special games with prizes through today, the 26th. Free parking and shuttle services are available from December 28th to January 1st, alongside 200,000 travel kits and bottled water for visitors. More updates are shared on the airport's official Facebook page.
A cute thought, a very cute thought. I like it. I
Very
like
nice.
it.
Yeah, I like that kind of. What I love about
Hopefully that didn't delay any baggage retrieval.
like this is not what I.
Yeah, cute teddy bear. Give me my bag.
That's funny. But what I love about Thailand is how into all of the festivities they get.
Yeah.
All of the international ones, like whether it's like the Indian festivals, the Chinese New Year, the Christmas, right? Like they go all out and put up all the decorations, trying to make it a really fun experience for everybody.
Yeah. Well done to Suvarnabhumi. Notorious for being what an awful experience people have going through that airport. However, at least when you're arriving and getting the bag, you're in Thailand, so you can start your journey with a smile.
Indeed. I love it. Sing in My Car says free iPhones on the belt would be nice, but teddy bears are nice too. That would be good too. Yeah. We're going to destroy Jason. That's so funny. He's like, it's not Christmas anymore.
All right. Oh, no. Okay, I was smiling, and then I looked at my next story.
This is a weird one, and a warning to people to be careful. Okay. Anyways.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to some of our last stories from around Thailand. A woman falls from a bridge while trying to retrieve a dropped phone. Guys, if you drop your phone, careful how you pick it up, because a 29-year-old Thai woman, Pattaya, suffered severe injuries after falling from a pedestrian bridge in Samut Prakan while trying to catch her dropped phone. The incident occurred on December the 24th. As she spoke to her husband on the phone, attempting to retrieve the phone, she fell through the bridge's handrail. Now, rescuers found her with a broken arm, multiple broken teeth, and other injuries. A nearby shop worker witnessed the fall and called for help. Kun Pattaya was taken to the hospital, but her current condition remains unknown. It's only natural, right? Like when you're dropping your phone, you're like, oh.
Yeah,
but you gotta look where you are. Sometimes you just gotta let it go, man.
Yeah, and especially these are images that we're seeing that look pretty rough. And the phone in question highlighted right next to her. But the important thing is when something like this does happen, it's very important not to try to move the victim. Like you have to wait for the medical professionals to show up, because they could be spinal injuries or something like that.
True.
So you have to wait and make sure that look, she got her phone, but at what cost? So be very careful, guys. There's absolutely no reason to risk your own health or your even life for something as replaceable as a phone. All right. Anyways, hopefully she will make a speedy recovery. Yeah. Yes.
I feel like they haven't blurred that video enough.
Well, I don't know. That's what's being aired on Thai news. So.
Yeah. For those of you wondering, all these images and videos are actually what's circulating in Thai media at the moment. So a lot of the times we add extra blur just because it's very disturbing. Thai media in general has gotten much better. You know, up until I think less than 5 years ago, Thai media would show everything, like the most horrific crashes, like bloody dismemberment, all in full graphic detail on live national television.
Good God, yeah. What is this, Christmas or Halloween
and then
today?
Eventually, I think Western media, I guess, kind of got involved, and people were like, hey guys, let's talk about ethics and morals, and this is someone's family member. We shouldn't be showing them dying on national TV. And it got better, and now they blur it. They still show it, but they blur it.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing about Thai media. We always freedom of press, very important, and it is relatively respected here in Thailand. Anyways, we're on to our ASEAN section of the news, which unfortunately I don't have much good for you today. And our first stop is going to be in Kazakhstan. Now, an Azerbaijan Airlines plane has crashed in Kazakhstan, killing several.
Oh my.
So an Azerbaijan Airlines Embraer 190 plane carrying 69 people crashed near Aktau, Kazakhstan during an emergency landing. At least 4 bodies have been recovered, with fears of more fatalities, including the pilots. 32 survivors are hospitalized, some in critical condition. Authorities are investigating potential causes, including a bird strike and heavy fog near the intended airport. Emergency services extinguished the blaze, and 150 workers are on site. Leaders from Azerbaijan and Russia expressed condolences, while Kazakhstan has launched an inquiry and is assisting victims' families.
When you hear about these stories, often you hear about the miracle, the miracle of Christmas, and people surviving, but the reality of the situation is most crash landings, unfortunately, have these huge impacts. And I mean, our thoughts and prayers go out to the families from this airplane crash.
Yeah, and Mojo has a correction for us, which I do need to say now. It's over 30 dead at this point, which is absolutely tragic.
Yeah.
And it's, you expect planes, safest way to travel, they always say, but when it becomes unsafe, it is absolutely, it seems near impossible to avoid the tragic results. They're still not clear. So trying to figure that out, but tough stuff. All right. Anyways, not our only plane crash today, unfortunately.
Well, we're going to move on to Japan now, where Japan's Coast Guard plane, due to its miscommunication, leads to a fatal collision. The Japan Transport Safety Board released recordings revealing that a Japan Coast Guard plane likely misinterpreted taxi instructions as clearance to enter the runway at Tokyo's Haneda Airport in January. The Coast Guard's Bombardier DHC-8-300 collided with a Japanese Airlines Airbus A350, killing 5 of 6 aboard the Coast Guard plane. All 379 of the 379 people on the Japanese airline flight escaped unharmed despite flames engulfing their aircraft. The Coast Guard crew believed they were cleared for takeoff, misinterpreting instructions to taxi to a holding point. Poor visibility and missed alerts further compounded the situation. The Japanese airlines crew's swift evacuation efforts were praised for saving all passengers and crew.
So this was, I guess this was a throwback. They were just trying to find out exactly what caused this, and miscommunication is it. This is one of the things. Okay, so when it comes to airlines, like and flight, everything is done in English. It's like kept as a universal. Like everybody needs to know it, and there can be no skimping. Like everybody needs to be able to communicate clearly with each other, particularly at international airports like Haneda. And one miscommunication can lead to a very tragic incident. So I don't know. Have you ever been to Japan?
I have not.
Japan is notoriously bad at speaking English. I have to tell you, it's and you have to wonder if that played a factor in this particular incident. But
and also, for those of you wondering, this happened in January, and why it's taken so long. Obviously, they've got to investigate what were those. What was the JAL airline doing? What were the pilots doing? What was the air traffic controller doing? Having multiple interviews, going through those depositions, going through those things, looking at it from a liability point of view for those businesses, from those individual purposes, from their families, then getting cleared, and then officially talking about the investigation, what it reveals. So it does take a very long time, and otherwise, what happens is oh, it's this guy's fault. Oh no, it's that guy's fault. And then 3 months, 6 months later, you find out that it's not their fault, and there's a lot of defamation and this and that. So
it's important to get to the bottom of it and figure out what really happened. So anyways, it seems like they have, and it's sucks.
Tragic.
Anyways, more crime stories.
us, man?
I'm telling you, man. That's this is just what the news is. I threw in the teddy bears, okay? I gave you a little bit of feel good.
All right.
Now, okay, we're off to Cambodia, where we have some court intrigue, as a Cambodian businessman has been sentenced for killing a couple in a property dispute. So a Cambodian businessman, Srey Sina, was sentenced to 31 years in prison for fatally shooting a young couple and injuring 2 others during a property dispute in Phnom Penh. The June 17th incident, captured on surveillance video, sparked public outrage, especially given Sina's status as an Okna, a title for wealthy government donors often linked to impunity. Sina received 15 years for the murders, 15 years for attempted homicide and weapon offenses, and 1 year for trespassing, alongside over $2 million in compensation to the victims' families. Despite initial skepticism about accountability, senior officials condemned the killings, ensuring a serious punishment. So I guess the news here is that this guy is part of a class of people in Cambodia that are typically immune to any sort of prosecution, above the law, as they say, as we so often see with wealthy individuals around the world.
Yeah.
Not in this case. So this sparked too much of an outrage that now they are throwing the book at him. 31 years. He is older man, so this is likely the rest of his life, because I imagine Cambodian prison is not a very nice place to hang out. But yes, hopefully the family can get some closure. Also, $2 million in compensation to the families. That is going to go very far in Cambodia, so that's good as well. Still, I'm sure they'd rather have their family members back. Anyways, throw the book at him. I say lock him up.
All right. For now, we're going to move on to our next story. Regarding cholera outbreak in Myanmar spurs border precautions in Thailand. Everyone be careful. Thailand has heightened surveillance along its border with Myanmar following a cholera outbreak in Shwe Koko, Myawaddy province, which has killed 2 people and infected 300. Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai ordered increased measures, including checkpoints, quarantine zones, and public awareness campaigns. High-risk areas in Tak province, such as Mae Sot and Mae Ramat, are under close watch. After 2 suspected cases were reported, authorities have set up an emergency operations center ensuring proactive monitoring, hygiene enforcement, and sufficient medical supplies during New Year celebrations. Border officials and locals are urged to prioritize cleanliness and wear protective gear.
I mean, can it get any worse for Myanmar? I feel like this is... They've been dealing with conflict for a long time. Now, when there's conflict, there's breakdowns of infrastructure, which leads to health incidents like this. Well, so
people in Tak, beware.
Yeah, indeed. And Thailand is good on Thailand for catching this early and increasing their awareness in order to make sure that this doesn't really spread into the land of smiles. But boy, can Myanmar catch a break? That'd be great one of these days. Tough stuff.
Yeah. But ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Those were some of the stories from across Thailand and ASEAN now. There's, of course, more stories on thetiger.com, and you can join in the conversation on any of these stories with your comments and your feedback at ASEANnow.com. That's Thailand's largest English forum. Did you know that?
Yeah, quickly growing around the region as well.